Motivation is like any other emotion. It comes and it goes. It fades and it can come with great intensity, but can leave just as powerfully.
I left that. I left my friends. I left that life behind. I started focusing on myself. I was still working 9 to 5 jobs, but I wasn't, vastly in debt. I wasn't just worrying about the day. I wanted to improve my lifestyle, and that's exactly what I did.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the 1% podcast. I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
And today we're going to talk about staying motivated and beating off your competition.
Wow. I think he means beat your competition.
Whatever Shane does is up to him.
Oh, God. So, staying motivated. Let's quickly segue into this. Staying motivated as an entrepreneur is actually a lot tougher than you guys may think it is. Whether you're a current entrepreneur, solo business owner, mega business owner, 9 to 5er, when you're a 9 to 5er, you don't really care. It's your regular job. You're not really there for motivation. You're there for money. You're there for a paycheck. You're not there for success. You're not there for that. But as an entrepreneur, sometimes the days are just a drag. And it's tough to kind of stay upbeat all the time. So, Vin, what do you do, especially as the coach? What coaching advice do you give to, stay motivated besides beating off your competition?
Sometimes that's the best way to go. If you really want them out of your competitive zone. Well, it's funny because I actually don't know if I necessarily believe in just staying motivated. I know we chose that as the topic today, and I even introduced it. And yeah, you're confused because you're like, well, why would you choose this, right? However, upon careful analysis, as I come out of my stupor, it is seeing that motivation is like any other emotion. It comes and it goes. It fades and it can come with great intensity, but can leave just as powerfully. And I've come to find that the most successful people aren't actually the most motivated people. They're the most disciplined people. They're the people who have built the best routines, habits, structures, and things that can support them in their day-to-day. Now, the byproduct of that discipline, I do believe, leads to motivation, though. Because motivation is an emotion, and emotions are byproducts of things that we're experiencing or things that we're putting ourselves through. So to stay motivated, I actually go the next step is I like to stay disciplined. And that's really where I would encourage people, like, build your habits, build your routines, build the structures in your life that will motivate you and support you in getting to the goals that you're trying to achieve. So I go to the gym every day. That really helps me. I find that waking up early is phenomenal for me. It gives me time in my day that I really look forward to. Thinking about what I can create for my daughter and my family, that's really motivating to me. And I think overall, having a good game plan for the day. If you have a game plan for the day and you have good clarity and you know what you're working towards, it's very easy to feel excited to do it. And if you're dreading the tasks, my other advice to you would be to change the meaning behind the tasks. You only dread things you don't like. And if you don't like it, it's because you've assigned it a crappy meaning. So just change the meaning. It's pretty simple in my opinion. So these are some of the greater things that I do to get myself, quote unquote, motivated.
Either you beat the day or the day beats you. We're going to just leave it at that before Vin goes into another beating comment. But
just beat it.
I do agree with your analysis here as far as dedication and strong will and setting good habits. But I think for motivation, for me personally, it comes down to the goals, the goals and aspirations that you set, and the only way that you're going to achieve those goals is by hard work. Whatever motivates you, whether that being, your family or money or coffee or whatever it may be. I guess coffee would be more for just stamina. But I personally think that you need to set goals, and it's. I know it sounds simplistic, but I personally think setting those types of short term goals, long term goals, that motivates me because I know what needs to get done. And if it doesn't get done, I'm not going to hit those goals. And not only am I letting myself down, I'm letting my, you know, close to 500 contractors, my family, but most importantly, I'm letting myself down.
Mm.
And that strives me every day to be better. So put goals down, set goals, hit those goals.
Be a goal. Become the goal. as much as as much as I'm joking, though, I'm serious.
I was just
So
thinking when you said become the goal, the very first thought I actually thought of was freedom, was time freedom. Like that's such a, I don't know if that's where you were going with it, but I don't, that's probably the most important thing to me in the world is
yeah,
time with whatever I want to do, time with my family, time on, I would just say family, actually. I was going to say more focused on growth, but it really is just time to do whatever you want. That's so big.
yeah. Well, everybody's got their own goals, right? But I think that's the important thing too, is like to also stay motivated is to understand the point of a goal, I believe. Because so many people think the point of the goal is about achieving the thing that you're striving for within that goal. But that's not actually what a goal is. Because the reality is that you don't have to strive to achieve something if you are something. If you have a goal to make $1 million, but you've made $1 million, no longer is a goal. Now you're just somebody who's made $1 million and you're actually the thing. So I think what people get confused on a lot is that they're trying to figure out how to reach the thing. But what they should actually be asking is, who do I need to become?
Mm.
And to me, that's actually one of the more motivating aspects of life, in my opinion, is figuring out who you have to become in every part of the process. Because ultimately, if you can unlock that part of yourself, like if $1 million is the goal, what kind of person do you need to become? Is there a regiment, a habit, a structure, a routine? Then after that, it's like, what's the value you need to provide? How will you provide it? Who are going to be the targeted people that you need to speak to? How do you have to learn how to speak to them? And then, of course, what is all of that worth? How do you have to charge for it? Is it like, is it 1,000 people at $100? Is it 1 million people at $1? Is it, 100 people at $10,000? Whatever number or metric you want to get to. And once you kind of figure all of that out, you've essentially grown as a person. And if you've grown as a person, now you're getting closer and closer and closer until eventually you turn around and the goal is just you. It's your lifestyle, it's what you're doing, it's in your business, it's in your personal life. It's all just become what it is that you're currently living. So I think even that, like people say have a goal that motivates you. I'd say have a version or a vision of yourself that motivates you. And ultimately, that's a lot harder to fall out of because you could get wrapped up in the $1 million, but it might not be something you actually genuinely care about. More if you start asking these questions of like, who am I trying to become and what do I want to achieve? You can actually get really, really involved in that because like that's super personal. Oh, and here's one other big thing, and we might have talked about this on another podcast. I think having goals that are bigger than yourself, and what I mean by that, like including others, is wildly important. Like, don't make $1 million because you want $1 million. Make $1 million because you want to retire your mom, or you want to buy your dad his dream car, or you want to send your brother on an all expense paid trip to Italy first class in a private jet. Like, do things that can actually get your people around you excited too. Do things that will spread more joy and emotion to others because ultimately that will drive you more. I mean, research even shows like humans always have this innate need to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So if you really want to be motivated, be less selfish, and you'll find that it's actually a lot more enjoyable working towards the thing. I'm
Um,
gonna buy my fellow podcaster another Rolex.
oh boy. One that I'll never wear, or maybe 5 times in life.
And for those 5 times, you'll think of me. See, Italy you only go to once. The Rolex you'll have forever.
I'd rather see my buddy and have a nice slice of regular pizza, not chicken cutlet. But I want to talk about something before I get there. Yes, Vin's favorite pizza, which is also another one, is chicken cutlet pizza.
No,
Like
no, chicken vodka. Chicken vodka.
chicken vodka, excuse me.
Gotta get right.
I definitely agree with as far as having goals and for other people, especially close family members. There's one thing that you said that I want to kind of go into detail a little bit, and we did this a little bit in the earlier episodes of our podcast, was trying to become better selves. And I definitely experienced with a lot of drugs, alcohol, hanging with, friends that were essentially just doing the same things that I was doing. Wasn't bettering myself. I was just looking to have fun at the moment and enjoy the moment. Wasn't thinking about my future, wasn't thinking about tomorrow. It was just having a good time. And in order to become a better version of myself before my family, I had to step away from all that. And, I've been sober since January 1st of 2011. I know not too long ago, but it's I'll never forget that. And maybe on another podcast I'll go into that story. But I left that. I left my friends. I left that life behind. I started focusing on myself. I was still working 9 to 5 jobs, but I wasn't vastly in debt. I wasn't just worrying about the day. I wanted to improve my lifestyle, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm not saying that I've achieved ultimate great success, but I have a beautiful wife and 2 kids and successful business with very happy employees, and I can't complain. And I think sticking to the fact we're making my situation better and realizing the situation that I'm in, and do I want to be in this situation, analyzing that really helped me out. So definitely make your situation better for not just you, for everyone around you. And if that includes leaving some people behind, who knows? It may make the other people that you left behind better too. Maybe they're feeding off of you by doing those terrible decisions and making those mistakes, and maybe they can self reflect. Maybe you're the bad influence. So,
Mm. I think there's something important to talk about there, and a very good friend comes to mind because he is still one of my best friends, and I spend a lot of time talking to him, and we have a business together, and it's interesting because I've spoken to him in great length about leaving behind his loser friends from the past, and I've personally done it to some degree where I don't think that the people that were in my life that I've left behind are losers. I just think that they're people that weren't right for me. The people he needs to leave behind are straight up losers, though. But it's interesting because there's two different takes on it. Me, I don't personally feel I have obligation to people because you were a part of my life. I think that that's a very sticky mindset. And from my best friend over there, he does have that. Like, there's so much history, there's so much time spent. I feel like I owe these people something. And I think it's very interesting because that mindset, though a very noble and admirable one to have, is also just rooted in, like, hey, you have a level of comfort with these people too, right? And I think that's what makes it so tough for him to let go. For me, I was so focused on what I want to achieve. And hey, maybe this would help some of you listeners out there, because this was the thing that actually made it really, really easy for me to let go of these guys. I had a dream, or a vision, I should say, where I was in a room with all the people I really admire, like the people I look up to. Like, imagine Tony Robbins, Tom Bilyeu, all these really cool guys are all hanging out in a room with me. And it's because of the fact that I finally become the person that's in that echelon, right? And they're all hanging out in this room because we're at a party. And I invite everyone that I consider close and important in my life. And then in that same moment, as I'm surrounded by all these amazing people that I admire, I imagine these guys walking in. And I imagine them walking in and bringing the chaos of their immature selves, of how I would definitely feel embarrassed that they would be proud to say that they're my best friend and that I've kept them as my best friend and they're associating with these people. And then how would I feel about the fact that I know that they're coming? And it wasn't a good feeling. And when I created this visual in my head, I was like, wow, I got to get rid of these people, because if I feel this way about their presence, I probably shouldn't have them in my life. And I really think that it is super important if you want to grow as a person to be willing to leave behind people that are not right for you, whether they're really just like losers or whether they're just really not people that you could see yourself growing with. And maybe they're kind and maybe they're great people, but just because they're great people does not mean they need to walk into your future with you either. Because sometimes great people um, still don't provide a lot of value, right? There's a lot of nice people that maybe are just bringing other people down or that just aren't really trying to improve themselves or really have nothing going on. And if you hold a level of obligation to that, you're actually allowing them to hold you back as well to some degree. So, all of this to circle back and keep it a part of the topic, one of the things that motivates me is also thinking about all the amazing people I'm going to be capable of meeting as long as I continue to work on me or build something of value or contribute to society more. Like there is so many amazing people out there. Don't settle for your circle. Be motivated about who you can welcome into your life because you have a limited capacity. Understand to make space for something means you also have to be willing to get rid of something. If you want amazing people to come into your life, be willing to get rid of the people that already occupy that time. Everything is a trade-off, and understanding that can potentially help you get set up to, I don't know, have a little bit more fun with new and exciting people that you may not have had before.
I think you made a very good point on the embarrassment aspect. Imagine yourself with those types of people at that higher echelon and those friends, whoever you're envisioning. Are you going to be embarrassed that they're there? I feel like just that question alone should tell you whether or not you are wasting your time. I don't feel like you personally owe them anything. Just because you have a history, that's it. We have a history. But when you really look at to it, those friends, those things that you're doing, is it just a scapegoat of reality to just go get drinks and go have fun? Is it bettering the relationship? Is it bettering yourself by continuing to do the same thing over and over again? Sounds like insanity to me. So the only way to grow is to cut out the past and focus on the future, focus on yourself. Otherwise, you're going to constantly be dragging and be embarrassed when you finally get to that level that you're still leaving them behind.
There was this great quote I heard before. Um, I'm probably gonna butcher it, so don't hate me for it. It was somewhere along the lines of like I forgot what it was. I think it was referring to someone specifically, and it said something like his character was in a room he was not yet ready to be in, or no, he was in a room that his character was not yet ready to sustain being in. It was like a quote about somebody, and it makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Is that sometimes, and this is kind of even a part of like those goals of like where do you want to get to? Sometimes we even think like, oh, if I got here to this place to this point with this person, it would change my life. But the reality is like if you aren't the person capable of actually building and fostering that type of connection or that kind of lifestyle, you're not really going to be able to achieve anything in that room. You're going to quickly fall out of it, maybe even feeling worse about yourself, your business, or your life, whatever it might be, or maybe just because nobody can recognize what you bring to the table, you won't get good connections. And so I think that there's something important to look at, like how these things all correlate. I know this is the topic, or today's topic is on how to stay motivated, but I look at these and I think these are a lot of the questions that help motivate me, at least, because it gets me curious about like who am I becoming? What rooms can I be in? How can I provide value to that room? What's the things that I should do? When you're focused on ways to create change and provide value, you'll find you have a lot of trouble not being motivated. I think overall, like this the long drawn out explanations we've just put in here can all really be summed up by that. When you find that there are a lot of things that you want to achieve and a lot of value you want to provide, not only to yourself but to others, it becomes very hard not to be motivated because you start seeing the possibilities of what can be instead of what is. And if you really, really want to create an exciting future for yourself, you just have to look at that. Don't think of things as they are and say why. Think of things as they can be and ask why not. That's a quote. If anybody could get it, let me know. Leave the comment down below. But I think that that quote is very true. I think that quote is very helpful. And I think that if you strive for that every single day, you'll actually find that there's enjoyment even in the mundane tasks. Because mundane tasks are only mundane because we don't see the value and the beauty in them, because we lose track of that when we lose track of what our purpose is and what our reason is for doing things. Like if I told you that every time you go to the grocery store with your wife, the purpose is to have a lot of fun, be super playful, and fall in love all over again. Well, you'd probably think I'm crazy. But if you really took that piece of advice, how enjoyable would those grocery store trips be for you? How much better would your relationship be with your wife? In fact, you might even find a level of playfulness you didn't even know existed. And that could be really, really motivating for you to now go to the grocery store as opposed to, oh, I gotta go shop with the old ball and chain. Oh man, anybody that tells me their girl is the old ball and chain, I don't even want to associate with. I'm like, you probably have a shitty relationship.
I wanted to speak towards the rooms aspect here.
Yeah.
There's definitely been times where I suffered a level of intimidation, where I've been around people that were, and still actually, that are vastly more successful than I am, or they're celebrities, or they're in something where I didn't know that I was going to be able to speak in or had no, real value in. And I could tell you in the beginning, that got to me. I did self-reflect. I did be like, why am I going to these things? And the more that I did that, the more I realized it was to become the person that I wanted to be. It was to be around these types of people, right? Being comfortable is terrible to as far as a business owner. Getting out there, meeting new people, meeting more successful people, bouncing ideas off each other, that is the best way to make new friends, make new acquaintances, make new clients. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you become, and the more you realize that you do belong, that you do have a place, because you'll be confident. Be confident, this is what I do, this is how I can help. Even if it doesn't work for you, it may work for one of their friends. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten even referrals from the people. Oh, I know so-and-so. They would love to get your contact information. Great, let's schedule a call. Anyway, so if you're starting out going to BNIs and chambers and social mixers, I applaud you already. Keep doing it. Get out of your comfort zone, because that is literally the first step of throwing away your past and getting into your bright new future.
I think there's one last thing is what Shane's referring to, what a lot of people experience is a level of imposter syndrome. And it's always very, very funny because until we feel a level of confidence and capability, we're always going to feel like an imposter. But the thing is, you don't actually have to feel like an imposter. If you go back to a simpler time in your life and you were trying to learn how to ride a bicycle, you never sat there and said to yourself, this is absolutely ridiculous. Who do I think I am trying to ride a bicycle? Because you knew that would be absolutely absurd, and you would try and you would fall and it would be absolutely fine because you've never rode on a bike and you were a child and you did not give a shit. The reason we developed this imposter syndrome is because we give a shit about the fact that we think other people give a shit, because we don't fully know what we're doing, or we're not fully the person we're trying to be yet, or we're trying something new. But if you could go back to being a kid, you'll remember you're not an imposter for trying something new. You're actually just somebody who's trying something new with the goal of becoming somebody new. And so if you can take that approach, it can help you in so many different ways, including being motivated to reaching and achieving whatever it is you're trying to achieve.
You know what? We're going to keep this one short and quick because I have more to say on that. But I feel like this was a nice, strong episode of how to stay motivated and 20 stories behind it. And ended up with just getting out there and, leaving your old past behind. But I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. Yeah, glad we did this.
As did I. Really, really good time today. So we hope you guys did, because otherwise it's just us being smug and enjoying our own crap. But we hope that you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed your stuff. I didn't enjoy my stuff.
Everybody likes their own brand, don't they?
Nice.
So if you guys got that quote that I dropped before and you know who said it, let us know in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know how you stay motivated. Please, for the love of God, interact with our content. No. But But seriously, we all appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody who comments. We appreciate all of you who take the time to listen. Thanks so much. Please do not forget, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you know when this is coming out again. I think there's nothing else, right? Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let us know if you guys have anything. Otherwise, it was great being here again today. I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane. See you next time, guys.